Hello everybody, here is an introduction into active filter design. Active filter design is a complex and broad topic. This tutorial will serve as an introduction so you are in a better position to deal with corresponding specialist literature. For now it is assumed that you are familiar with the basics of operational amplifiers. If not, there is plenty of good material on YouTube, for example. In this video I will work with simple and ideal operational amplifiers. Here you see how a 1 kHz filter cleans an input 50 Hz signal from an overlapping 2 kHz disturbance. There are three types of active filters: analog filters, digital filters and power electronic filters, which are mainly used in high power and power grid application. Here I will deal with the analog filters only. For producing the video I am using a tool which you can find under www.ecsp.ch. As follows. It is very easy to build electric circuits, run simulation, and as a unique feature allows you to change values of elements during the simulation. Here is a passive low-pass filter running in the frequency domain. When a load is added to the passive filter, the characteristics of the filter changes substantially in function of the load. When adding an opamp to the filter and connecting the variable load to the output of the filter characteristics is not affected by the variable load anymore. In this case, the opamp is a simple buffer without amplification. An amplification can be achieved when connecting a resistive voltage divider to the output. As a result, only a fraction of the output is used as negative feedback loop. Hence, there is an amplification factor equal to the voltage divider ratio. By the way, the link to the program used for simulation is attached to the video description below. There are three basic types of filters: low-pass, high-pass and band-pass filters. Filters can be designed in inverting or non-inverting configuration as shown by the first-order filters below. Further down the road, the design of higher-order filters will be demonstrated. Here a brief reminder of the formula for the one example of a first-order low-pass filter in inverting configuration. The output is negative relative to the input signal. The solution for this complex equation has been explained in earlier videos. The frequency sweep of a filter represents both the absolute value of the signal in function of the frequency on the top half of the chart and the phase angle of the signal on the bottom chart. The sweep can be represented in a linear scale or in a logarithmic scale, the so-called Bode diagram. There is a correlation between the cutoff frequency of a filter in the frequency domain and the time constant of a step response in the time domain. The cutoff frequency is defined as the frequency where the signal crosses the 3 decibel point, equal to 1 over the square root of 2 or 70% of the unfiltered signal. The time constant is the time needed for a signal to reach 63% of the voltage step. Let's now design a first non-inverting low-pass filter. By the way, what is this grounding connection good for? Here is the layout of the inner opamp circuit. This connector enables to connect the inner voltage source to an external circuit, or, as in this case, to ground. There is an output resistance in series with the voltage source. So for example, we specify the 3 dB frequency of the low pass to be 10 kHz. Now we select a meaningful and standard capacitor, preferably lower than 100 nanofarads, in order to avoid electrolytic capacitors. In this case, let's go for 10 nanofarad. Now, using this formula, the resistor will be 1.6 kilo ohm, which looks reasonable. Now the frequency sweep shows that the 3 dB point is at 10 kHz as specified. As per frequency sweep, you can see that the decay of the output signal amplitude over the frequency is relatively slow for a first-order filter. For many applications, the frequency cut above the 3 dB point must be much faster. This can be achieved by higher-order filters. The filter order here is represented by the letter N. To make the case, let's go for a second-order filter. In order to do so, I just add another same filter in series. The frequency sweep shows, however, that even though the decay of the second order filter is now faster than before, the cutoff frequency is now around 6 kHz and not 10 as specified. Thus, I need to adapt the cutoff filter frequency of the individual filter as follows. The spec is kept at 10 kHz and the capacitors are still 10 nanofarads as before. However, the cutoff frequencies of the two individual low-pass filters have to be corrected by alpha, which for a second order filter is equal to the following formula. The correction alpha for this filter is 0.6. The cutoff frequency of the individual filters therefore is not 10 kHz as before, but 10 kHz divided by alpha, which is equal to 15.5 kHz. As a result, the resistors are adapted from originally 1.6 kΩ to now 1.02 kΩ. Once the resistors in the circuit have been adapted accordingly, the result of the frequency sweep is perfect, with a cutoff frequency at 10 kHz and with a frequency decayed double as fast as before, namely 40 dB per decade and not 20. For even higher order filters, there is a generic alpha correction factor as follows. This type of filter is a filter with intrinsic critical damping. Critical damping means that the filter does not produce any overshooting when subject to a step response input. A filter with critical damping can also be achieved by a pure passive LRC circuit, provided that for 10 kHz cutoff frequency, the elements are set to 10.5 mH for the inductance, 2.5 kΩ for the resistor, and 10 nanofarad for the capacitor. The behavior of the two circuits, however, differs substantially as soon as I change the value of the resistor. For the RLC circuit, this means a change in the damping resulting in a clear overshoot or oscillation of the output signal in the time domain. If the resistor value is reduced, the circuit is not critically damped anymore, whereas for the upper circuit it continues to be critically damped but at another frequency. The difference can be seen in both the time domain and the frequency domain. Here is why. Remember the math for one individual critical damping filter with an opamp buffer for decoupling the load. Connecting two such elements in series corresponds to a mathematical multiplication of the two fractions, resulting in the following second-order equation. Setting the resistor to 0 in this equation results in the denominator being equal to 1 and thus the whole fraction being equal to 1, and the output voltage is then equal to the input voltage. The cutoff frequency is a function of R and in brackets and C, but the damping of this type of circuit remains always critical with no overshoot in the time domain. With an RLC circuit, however, the situation is totally different. Setting the damping resistor R to 0 leads to a non-damped oscillation, and at resonance frequency the denominator is 0. Thus, the fraction formula results in infinity at this point. For a more generic mathematical approach, it is common practice to use a normalized frequency S. The N will be relevant later. Here is the same formula used before, but this time with the normalized frequency. As a result, one gets a generic term for a second-order filter with parameters A and B characterizing the behavior of the filter. There are publicly available tables listing the parameters A and B for all kinds of filter characteristics and filter orders. These parameters apply for RLC filters, but also for other active filters layouts, as we will see later. So once the filter characteristics is selected by selecting A and B from a table, here is the RLC filter design process. First, start with selecting the capacitor value, preferably smaller than 100 nanofarad. Then determine R and L as per formula derived from above. Here comes a concrete application. The parameters A and B from a table have been used to calculate R and L for various filter characteristics for a specified cutoff frequency at 10 kHz and selected capacitor of 10 nanofarad. The standard filter characteristics have got specific names such as Bessel, Butterworth and Chebyshev filters. The filters behave differently and are optimized for specific applications. The different values of R and L will be implemented in a simulation for demonstration. All filters have the same cutoff frequency and the same decay of 40 decibels per decade, but the decay of the critical damping filter starts well before the cutoff frequency and it meets the 40 decibel per decade curve later. It is therefore less selective than, for example, the Chebyshev filter at the bottom, which has a sharper corner around the 3 dB point, but at the cost of an overshoot of 3 dB just before the cutoff. For many applications, the phase shift is very important as well. Here is a simulation of the step response of the filters in the time domain. The art of filter design is all about finding the optimal compromise between different requirements. Here are the A and B coefficient tables for Bessel and Chebyshev filters up to the 10th order. A link to such tables is in the video description below. The issue with inductors is that they get pretty large, with values approaching the millihenry range, and do not fit to surface-mounted boards. There are a couple of opamp circuit topologies which enable the substitution of inductors. The two most common topologies are the so-called multi-feedback topology and the Sallen-Key topology. Both are second-order filters. For higher-order filters, they can be connected in series. For the two topologies, the A and B parameters for the various types of filters remain the same as for the RLC circuit. The formula, however, for the individual components R and C change depending on the chosen topology. The derivation of the formula is explained in other YouTube videos and shall not be repeated here. Here the formula are just reused. As before for the RLC circuit, we take the A and B parameters from the same table but recalculate the R1, R2, C1 and C2 values based on the corresponding Sallen-Key or multi-feedback technology formula. Here is an example for the second-order low-pass filter in Sallen-Key topology. In order to get real results for the circuit elements, there is a restriction for the relation between C1 and C2. Watch the perfect correspondence of the RLC and Sallen-Key circuit for the Chebyshev 3 dB filter as an example. Now let's move from a second to a third-order filter by adding a first-order low-pass filter as input segment to the second-order low-pass filter. As an example for a Bessel filter, we use the corresponding A and B parameters from the table and calculate the R and C elements by the same formula already used previously. The variable n corresponds to the segment number where we take the AN and BN parameters from. Here is the result in the linear as well as in the Bode diagram format. Transforming a low pass to a high pass filter is easy. Here it is demonstrated with a third-order Bessel filter, but it works for the other filter types as well. The first step is to swap the position for R and C. Once done, recalculate the values of R and C with the formula for high-pass filters. The A and B parameters remain unchanged. Here is the corresponding frequency scan. For band-stop filters there is a couple of options. Here I focus on the simplest one. Connect the demonstrated low and high pass filters in series. Adjust the cutoff frequency so that the higher cutoff frequency is for the low pass filter and the lower cutoff frequency is for the high pass filter. Here the low cutoff is set to 100 Hz and the high cutoff is set to 10 kHz. For band pass filters there is however another option I want to quickly address. It is a bit more economical version of a Sallen-Key bandpass filter. The main feature of this version is to vary the amplification by the two feedback resistors RA and RB. Except the two feedback resistors, the other resistors and capacitor, as per the slide, tune the central frequency of the filter to 1.6 kHz. However, this type of filter is a little tricky to handle properly. Anyway, it is an interesting alternative. For more details I refer to the literature and to the link in the video description below. By the way, the input parameters to the opamp used for this video are as follows. Last but not least, here is an example about how to transform a third-order Bessel bandpass filter into a third-order Bessel bandstop filter. The process is as follows. Take the bandpass filter, cut the low pass from the high pass filter and rearrange the layout so that the respective outputs can serve as input to an adding amplifier. Calculate the elements of the low pass filter to meet the lower cutoff frequency by using the same table as before. Calculate the elements of the high pass filter so that the higher cutoff frequency is met. In this example, the low cutoff is at 100 Hz and the high cutoff is at 10 kHz. Look at the element values on the slide. Watch the result in the Bode diagram.
If you want to quickly and easily build an electric circuit model and interactively play with the elements, this is the place to go. For example, you can change the phase angles of the power sources in real time and watch the resulting changes in the power flow across the grid. There is no better tool to get hands-on expertise in electric circuits. You can access the browser-based tool via link below www.ecsp.ch.